the last come for over 2 decades. We have the best sliced bread anywhere on the island. The best butter bread, cakes and pastries, and a staff that's warmer. Island bakeries, good to the last crumb. We also have island-wide delivery buses, outlets at the industrial site Bay Road and on 4th Street, opening hours from 5 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Easy in the morning. Island bakeries, good to the last crumb. Island bakeries, good to the last crumb.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean, keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
Back to school is here at Harper's. Yes, Harper's, it's where it's at with the widest selection of school and art supplies for all schoolgoers, from the tiniest preschooler to the big cool college students. Plus, everyone can enjoy a 10% discount and a chance to spin the wheel and enter our grand draw in September. And the bonus is, our friendly team is looking forward to welcoming you again and again and again. For more information, call us at 466-6500.
Yeah, we got that.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
Good morning, and how are we doing this morning? It's Monday, it's the 22nd of September, just about 12 minutes after the hour of 8 here in the studios of Win FM. Welcome to today's edition of Island Tea. To the regional and international diaspora, good morning. To the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, good morning. Just to remind you that if you wish to join in on the conversation, our local numbers is 466-0989. In the U.S., we have two numbers, 1-305-921-4619 or 1-718-285-6984. In the U.K., you can reach us at 0333-44006. Just to remind you, we are on your FM dial at 98.9. We're being simulcast on TVC Channel 40, Facebook, as well as YouTube. Quint, good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
A bit disappointed, but yeah, I'll say congratulations to the Night Riders. The CPL concluded, and of course, chicken curry had to go and lose to curry chicken. Ugh. Yes, that's how I feel this morning. Yeah.
That's interesting. What about this chicken curry and curry chicken?
Because in Ghana, we put the meat before the curry. They put the curry before the meat. So we are infamous. That's the argument between we and us and Trinidad and Tobago. We say chicken curry, they say curry chicken, because in their minds, they curry the meat. In our minds, we cook the protein, the fish, whatever it is, and then we cook our curry, and then we add back our meat.
I like the way you do it, because I've tasted some of their stuff, and to me, it's too big on the curry.
Well, you see, we have it. We have it. The chicken curry has it. And I wish the chicken curry would have won last night. Imagine they won the toss and went and bat. That was the dumbest thing ever. They could have let them bat, and with the crowd behind them, they would have known what they had to chase. And then I particularly did not like that lineup. Yes, this is me blasting chicken curry. I did not like that lineup. Whoever did that need to go back to the drawing board. We should have had Shepard batting since the first instance to put some runs on the board. Mr. Hope didn't last too long. Iftikhar tried his best. Pretorius came in, he tried his best too. I just think we weren't at our best last night. Tahir did his best. We got them out, but they were still lashing sixes in our faces. And listen, these people didn't need a fifth. We needed a second. One is never good enough. Come on. What happened, Chicken Curry? Good morning. How are you doing this morning? Welcome to Island Tea.
Yeah, blessed in Jesus' name and greeting once more in Jesus' name, the only Savior of sinners from their sins and from hell, and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, I'm calling with a sad thing on my heart. I don't have much question. Let me be as quick as possible. Today, there is a married couple in the food court in North Square Street that are supposed to be removed by the government based upon the videos I've seen by Talking Gong. And I think it is wrong. As far as I know, they have been falsely accused of sleeping in the thing, but they say no, nothing about that is true. They stay up late making the bread, but they do not sleep in the container. But they're given 7 days to vacate their business in North Square Street and the food court. And I think that is very bad. And I would like...
Okay, he did say he didn't have much credits.
So, what is that?
Well, from what I garnered from what he said, it seems as if though there's a couple who does food vending in that area, but apparently maybe
they've been accused of sleeping in their trailer.
In their trailers.
So they've committed an, if that is true, and they're giving them 7 days to move.
Yeah.
But how can they prove that's not true? And as he said, they're baking their bread late at night, I guess, to prepare for the next day. And what would give them the inclination that they're sleeping in the trailer? You see, we have one side of the story, but we need the other one. We need the other side.
And I would assume that the authorities would do some research and do a bit of,
have some due process.
Yeah, before
hope for the best.
You go to that. Hello, good day.
Good morning, Quinn. Good morning, Patricia.
Good morning.
Good day.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Guys, I want to bring some international concern, news that has concerned me. Quinton Potencia, I don't know, you may or may not be aware that about, we're in September, I think it is in last month, a diplomat was arrested in Mali by the name of Yann, Y-A-N-N, Versailles. He was arrested in Mali, and the French government sent a command to Mali and said to release him at once. Well, he has not been released because according to the Malian government, they want to try him for criminal activity, as the Malian claim that he was trying to destabilize the Malian government. Now, since he has not been released, two Mali diplomats was deported out of France. I want to lend my support to the president of Mali, Assimi Goïta. Immediately, he also deported 5 French diplomats from Mali. Guys, I want us to raise our voice in support to Assimi Goïta, because the system cannot continue, and we as a black people have to lend our support. This dying system, Europe and America, with all that is going on in America and Europe, and let us not escape what is happening in the UK as well. Because just like how we have had Charlie Kirk in the UK, in America, we also have let's see, Tommy Robinson in the UK. These are guys that the system have created. But you see, in order for them to maintain control, they have to create fear and chaos because they are ruling with the gun. But look at Mali, guys. Hardly any military power. Because when France was in these Sahel countries in Africa, they claimed they was there to disable jihadist activity. For centuries they was there. But the jihadist groups them are getting high-tech weapons. So let us lend our support to Assimi Goïta for expelling 5 diplomats from France out of Mali. Because the system cannot continue, guys. And we as a black people in the Caribbean, we have to let our voices be heard. Because this is about us. And it's also about them. But because of their I can't even pronounce the word, narcissistic mind.
Narcissistic.
Thank you, Quint. If they don't have it, we cannot have it. Well, we have to stop this. This cannot continue, guys. And I want our leaders to wake up. Because what is happening on the continent of Africa should concern us in the diaspora. Narcissistic. Thank you, Quint.
Yeah.
I want that to sink into our people, Quint. Because the universe and Mother Earth is calling for change, and only the rightful people on this planet is going to bring that change. But the change cannot come if we are divided. We have to unite and become knowledgeable, guys. And this is my cry for our people. Become knowledgeable. Because when we start loving ourselves, they become irrelevant. Thank you guys for hearing me.
Okay.
Thank you, as usual.
And I do agree with you that we need to see what is happening in Africa as important to us. As a matter of fact, as I've often stated, until Africa is truly independent and free, we in the Caribbean will never be truly independent and free. But when Africa becomes independent and free, automatically the rest of the world will begin to respect us. And I'm glad that you pointed out Assimi Goïta, because everybody only seems to want to call Abraham Traore's name, and I keep reminding them that it's 3 individuals in that area who are doing great things. So thank you for highlighting his name. And imagine the audacity of France that they can send criminals into your place, and they must be free to do whatever they wish. And if you decide that you're going to try them, put them through due process, which they would do if you were in their country, they decide to dispel. So we dispel too. You understand? Yeah. So I see no problem with that. And my hat's off to Assimi Goïta and the others in that region for showing the rest of the world and specifically the rest of Africa what is needed to be done.
And I concur with what you say, because every morning you wake up is some problem.
Yeah, and the thing about it, the Caribbean seems to be, I don't know if it's voluntary or if it's a sort of reluctant push into the area, into the direction of unity, but they are gradually forming some alliances and coming out in voices, especially with this thing that is happening with Venezuela. So let's hope that it gets bigger and better as we go along.
Yeah, I saw they hit a second boat.
A third boat.
A third one? I thought there was 2.
Yeah, they hit the
when
first one.
When was there a third one?
Maybe just yesterday.
What? I thought there were 2.
Killed 3 people. Look, well, are you surprised? Well, not surprised. Trump does what he intends to do, and his intent is to push the propaganda that drugs is being shipped. And I listen to the media, I listen to the internet, and look, this is why the rest of the established media is becoming less and less relevant because they keep pushing the same story. I heard different interviewers, and they're asking questions like, so why is it that all of a sudden drugs is back up so prevalent in the Caribbean region, as if though they know this as a fact, as if though there's been no changes and that kind of stuff. And they're quick to interview individuals who follow their line of reasoning. So that is why they're losing relevance, because they're jumping on this with so-called drugs in the Caribbean, but no one is jumping on what is happening in the Middle East and the mass killing of so many individuals. So we, the people of the world, see the disparities, see the differences, and we can't add it up. It's not adding up. So we're saying, okay. So now we see what you're all about. Yeah.
Listen, and as you mentioned that, I see they said Hamas post a picture with the remaining hostages that they may have. Some are alive, some are not. And Israel just continues to plummet. Then I see a next story that's in the headlines that Israel tried to invite a few influencers, including Charlie Kirk, to come to Israel. They promised to pay him this lot of money, basically to push the rhetoric or whatever. He didn't go. So a lot of things are swirling around social media. We have to be careful because some of it could be AI. But
yeah, he didn't go because if you listen to some of his later statements before he was killed, he was beginning to change his rhetoric where Israel was concerned. And there are those who believe that Israel is responsible for his demise.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so.
It's just, listen, as I said, every day you wake up, it's something else.
But there's another side to it, because this same Kirk, all of a sudden he's like the new Messiah or something in the United States. They're touting him to be. I just read an article where a student in a particular university was expelled because the MAGA hat thing when they went into their area to speak about his how he's so great and people should be like. Imagine, they're saying people should be like him.
I know. Next one was expelled because he mocked the whole scenario of what happened to him. I saw that one, but I didn't see the one with the hat.
No. Well, yeah. So, man, I tell you, it's just. Look, now we're seeing, and somewhere on one of my voices, I'm going to play a clip entitled "The System Encourages Stupidity." And you will see where that plays into the scheme of things. Hello, caller.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. How
are you guys? This is good Monday morning.
Fine, thank you. And you?
Good, yourself?
Good, thanks be to God. No, Quint, you are so right. All of a sudden, you would think Charlie Kirk, he was the second coming of Christ. He was so righteous. All of a sudden, he's a man of God. Seriously?
And when you listen to his rhetoric, you say, "Oh yeah, okay." So now we understand from since the time Columbus. I keep telling people from the time Columbus landed until now, they've been using Jesus Christ's name to condone massacring people.
And what bothers me is that they have this thing. You can't say nothing negative about Charlie, like Charlie is Christ, but yet 2 people were hung. 2 young black men were hung on a tree in a college, and you don't hear peep out of the media.
You don't hear a thing. I spoke about it just not too long ago, sometime last week, I think it was. Yeah. So it shows a double standard. It shows a double standard.
No outrage.
But even the children that were killed around the same time Charlie Kirk was murdered, you didn't hear anything about those.
That just went over our head. They went over everybody's head like, okay, move on. Charlie's more important.
And this shows, as I've said, that the established media, they follow the same rhetoric. They have an agenda. And they push their agenda.
I was just about to tell you, quick, there's a motive behind it all. I saw a man on the social media where he's saying it's time for them to take up arms and literally saying they're ready to break down doors and go in and kill one of them white supremacist people. It's obviously it's some kind of controversy. They're looking for some effect to where they could go in and use what they have as their leader to encourage them to go in and just kill innocent people. And you know who the people would be that they want to kill.
Yeah, but this isn't going to go down. They're going to be in for a rude awakening, you know. If they think that black people have been standing and being passive and watching on the sideline because we're afraid of them, let them go ahead.
It is just crazy. It's crazy to see how I don't know condone anybody being assassinated, anybody being killed, but it's just the hypocrisy stinks to high heaven.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. And do you hear did you listen to the speech what Trump gave at the big memorial they had for him?
No.
I mean, he blatantly said, what Charlie was saying, he claimed to say that Charlie was like saying, love your enemy, but he not gonna love no enemy. He literally said he'd rather destroy his enemy.
So he was being contradictory.
That's what I mean. The hypocrisy stinks to high heaven.
Yep.
But you know what? Everything has to happen for a reason. And if we look around, if we're honest, and we look around, number one, the great Babylon, which is America this time, is going to fall. And a whole lot of things going to happen because God's word has to come to pass. Anyway, guys, have a good day.
Yeah, same to you.
Same to you.
And, yeah, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. You see them pushing the same rhetoric and the obvious, what is glaring in their faces, they choose to ignore it. Quite
They don't
strange.
care. They really don't care.
I tell you. So I'm going to play this bit of a clip.
8 years into Macron's rule, critics say France has been left poorer, angrier and broken. Authorities deployed a staggering 80,000 officers nationwide. Nearly 100 arrests were reported. Unions claimed up to 100,000 people had joined the strike across 250 locations, making it the largest challenge since his controversial pension reform battle.
Budget cuts are a consequence of all the gifts that have been made to the managers and the capital. We have a deaf government which does not hear us.
The guillotine in Paris, the smoke in Lyon, the despair in Montpellier, all are symbols of a nation that no longer trusts its president. Macron faces not just a strike, but a rebellion against his legacy. Montpellier's marches began with drums, flags and chants, but ended in chaos. Riot police dispersed crowds and tore down barricades, but not before protesters vowed the fight had only just begun.
Some people are forced to make impossible choices. 1 out of 2 people only eats 1 meal a day. Food insecurity is absolutely staggering.
In Lyon, Paris, Montpellier and beyond, protesters rallied against the president's austerity cuts and pension reforms, accusing him of destroying the French way of life. Older generations voiced their own disillusionment.
I am scared. I am 72 years old. Good things could have happened some years ago, but now we are frightened because we do not trust our president. He is doing nonsense after nonsense.
In Lyon, chaos gripped the streets. Police fired tear gas, chased demonstrators and clashed violently near Saxe-Gambetta Avenue. Protesters hurled explosives. Officers struck back with grenades, and smoke engulfed central squares. Placards branded Macron a dictator, accusing him of taxing citizens while billionaires thrive.
It's always the poorest who are asked to make the biggest sacrifices. I think of young people who are completely desperate. They can't find housing. They can't afford tuition fees. I think of elderly people living on miserable pensions, families who can't even put food on the table.
The rage was just as raw in Paris. riot police charged, metro services collapsed, and tear gas blanketed Nation Square. Demonstrators dragged a guillotine on wheels, a chilling symbol of rebellion, as unions warned Macron's leadership had benefited too few and hurt too many.
Yeah, you hear it.
I didn't even know that was going on. I was just Googling something here to see what is happening over there in France. As we make way for a traffic talk, which we will get into shortly, I guess we will continue this conversation in regards to France and what's happening around the world today. As I said, I did not. Quint, I had no clue all of this was happening in France. Wow. I'm just reading all of this and I'm seeing, yeah, this is a lot, very, oh boy. Wow. So, Quint, I already said we're going to segue into traffic talk, and when we're done with traffic talk, we can get back to what is happening over there in France and around the world.
Well, before we do that, we have a little bit of time, so I'm going to just kill that, and then we can move on when we, come back after the break. Yeah, that is what is happening in France. That is what is happening in France, because I'm going to have to take that bit of a commercial break. It's too much chaos, and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
St. Kitts and Nevis, Hartsford's Value Mart is saying thank you in a big way. Join us for Bag the Savings Customer Appreciation Weekend, celebrating 150 years of SL Hartsford and Company. This one's for you, our valued customer. From Thursday, September 18 to Saturday, September 20, every customer will receive a free limited edition reusable shopping bag while supplies last. Plus, shop on Thursday and Saturday. Spend over $100 and walk away with a free $20 coupon towards your next purchase. It's our way of showing appreciation to you. So come celebrate, stock up, and save big during Bag the Savings Customer Appreciation Weekend. Only at Hartsford Value Mart. Hartsford's Value Mart. Bag the savings, bag the value. Shop smart. Shop Value Mart, where price matters most.
Church's Texas Chicken is on its way to St. Kitts and Nevis, and we're hiring. You can be part of our growing team as we open our very first store on the island. We're looking for motivated managers, friendly customer service reps, and hard-working kitchen champions. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Send us your resumes today at jobs@pizzaboys.com. Church's Texas Chicken. Flavor you love.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
Good morning and welcome back to Island Tea. Just about 39 minutes after the hour of 8, we welcome the officers into the studio for a traffic talk. Well, nice to have you back. You look pretty shiny after vacation. I guess you're well rested. And good morning and welcome back to our second officer. I don't quite have your name, so I don't want to say the wrong thing. Sergeant Maguire. Okay, welcome back. And let us begin traffic talk today.
Yes. Yes. Good morning, Radioland. Good morning, Cartencia. Okay, so topic today is tinting. I don't think if we're gonna get to cover the entire topic today, but however, we're gonna try to talk about the main stuff. Okay, Section 62 of the Vehicles and Road Traffic Act, Chapter 15.06 states, in this section, restricted vehicles mean any motor vehicle other than motorcycle where the whole or part of the glass of the windscreen, side or rear windows of the vehicle are obscured by either by any film, tint, or other devices, or custom tint by the manufacturer. Okay? The tint limit is no less than 35% of light transmission. Okay? So when you have your tint meter, you're getting your vehicle inspected, the tint level should read 35% or more. Anything less than that, it's going against the laws. Okay? I know you like your stats, so I brought some stats for you today. Now we give tint for two different offenses, for your windows and for your windscreen. Okay? Now, from January 1st until September 22nd, 2024, we issued 190 tickets for driving with dark tinted windscreen. No,
and that is from traffic department.
That's from this overall for this.
So
overall
this is
for
federal.
this federal, yes.
Okay, good stuff.
For 2025, we have issued 305 so far.
Double plus some.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
And then for tinted windows, from January until September 22nd, 2024, that's last year, we issued 414 tickets. And for this year so far, we have issued 683 tickets.
Wow.
No.
Almost up by 300.
Yes. So as you see, the stats are increasing, and we have set certain measures in place to try and reduce this offense. And what we find that because it's such an issue to get your vehicle inspected, no, with the dark tinted windows or the windscreen, and just to show that persons know that they are breaking the law, when they go to get their vehicles inspected, they take off the tints. They make sure they're in compliance with the law to get their vehicle inspected. And right after that inspection is approved, they go back and they put back on the tints. And this is why we have to be out here and enforcing the law and not really trying to think about the discretion as much, because we realize that no matter how much things we set in place to try and reduce these offenses, the stats don't lie.
They're going to find some way around it.
And if I should add to also Hortensia, that I consider, I call these menacing offenses, because they are being premeditated. They have been. This is where persons just intending and flaunting the law, and so apart from the ticketing, it's important to point out that also in the Vehicles and Road Traffic Act, that the law requires, because if you are in violation of the law, your vehicle can be impounded until such violation is being corrected. it's important to point out the penalty for tinting. Sometimes people get ticketed and they go and they pay the tickets. But really and truly, if you're taken to court, you can be fined up to $1,000.
$5,000.
$5,000,
Yes.
right? And so the intention of that is deterrence. But we realize that persons are not being deterred. Persons are bent on really violating or flaunting the law. Even at the point of inspection. So we are bringing into place the standardization of the inspection of vehicles, motor vehicles. And so from time to time, the traffic department will have meeting with the inspectors. In fact, there is a chart. So when we pinpoint or we identify offenses, we will point it out to them and ensure that there is always a place where that can be stopped. But like Bell says, that persons will remove the tint conveniently just to get the vehicle passed so that they can get the vehicle license. And so we know that because when you inspect your vehicle, there are photos that are being uploaded to the system, so we can see the condition of your vehicle at the point of inspection. So we know that you would have put back on the tint. And so in cases like this, perhaps what we might have to do is really enforce the law, strict at the strictest sense in terms of impounding vehicles, and instead of ticketing, take these persons
to the court.
So that the court will be able to see the menace in this conduct and behavior in the disregard of the law. We don't take pleasure in doing these things. We just want all citizens, all motorists to be civic minded, to be law abiding. If the law requires a certain percentage of sin, then you should be in compliance with the law. It's also important to point out to persons, when you're buying your tint, then I think they have two kind of tint. You have the charcoal and you have the normal.
Yeah.
And so that is one of the things that you have to be mindful of when you're buying the tint, that if you buy the charcoal, that is, even though it's 35%, is much darker than the normal one. Another thing to take into consideration, that the windscreen and windows itself, the elements of the glass, there are elements of tint in it. So even though you might see the glass might be clear, there is a percentage of tint. And so especially if the glass is tinted already, manufactured, and you put tint on that, you don't expect any kind of light transmission to go through. So these are things that persons must take into consideration when they are thinking about tint. So if your vehicle is already tinted, it's always best to take a lighter tint. So you will lower than the 35%.
So that would be the
Not
normal
lower,
tint.
you go higher than the 35%. And so then it will, by the time your vehicle is inspected, it can bring it in line with the
When I
tint
hear
requirement.
higher than 35, because it's confusing me. I know
Yes.
anything higher is more. So how is more better?
The lesser
More
the,
light.
the lesser
More
the
light.
percentage, the darker it is.
So 35 is a lesser percentage?
Yes.
No, lesser than 35. If you're going down,
Oh,
the
if
more
you
you
go
go down, the darker it gets.
Darker it gets.
Yes, because we're talking about the light transmission, so we need 35% and above light transmission.
That's what the law requires.
Okay,
That
got
there-
you now.
Yeah.
Because in the spirit of the law, at 35%, that is enough visibility.
Okay.
That you should be able to recognize a person. In terms, well, there are other factors that may affect that, but in a normal scheme of things, 35% is enough light transmission to light up the vehicle, so you would be able to recognize the driver. One other thing we need to point out and remind persons why tinting is illegal is because we think about vehicle safety, the safety of pedestrians. And so we do not want persons to hide behind these circumstances to commit crime. So in order, like for example, sometimes or many times a vehicle might pass you and then you, in split seconds, you cannot recognize the registration number or whatever. But if there's some visibility, you might be able to recognize the driver. And so all this is really from an aspect of crime prevention. And that is why we are asking for persons to cooperate and comply with the law. Because when you are in compliance with the law, then it means, therefore, that you are helping in preventing crime. Yeah.
And just to add to what the sergeant said, sometimes we stop persons and they say, oh, tint don't kill people. Tint ain't causing a crime. But it's because of dark tinted windscreen windows, persons can disguise themselves whether they have on a mask or anything. Because, for example, if we are outside standing up linemen and a heavily tinted car just come and pull up next to us, that's going to inflict fear into us because we're going to be there wondering like who behind there, what they're planning to do and stuff like that. So let us not just look at the smaller picture and say, oh, tint do not cause crime or anything like that. But persons that are out there intending, conspiring to commit these crimes, they're not going to drive in a vehicle that people could see them coming.
Yeah, you're correct.
Right. Wow. And just to point out, to show how the visibility is an effective measure for crime prevention. You will recall the young lady who was later found dead, who went missing, and because of visibility, that's one of the reasons that assists in that investigation. And so because it's sub judice, I don't really want to say much about it. Understood. But it's just to point out to the general public the importance of being within the limit that is prescribed.
Okay.
Yes, and we find sometimes when we're giving persons tickets for dark tinted windows or windscreen, some of them, maybe they're financially stable enough. They're going to be, oh, give me the ticket, it's just $150. But when we find that persons are being malicious like that, we can know, okay, hey, I'm going to report you for the offense. So now, whereas you might have been thinking of paying a $150 ticket, you go to the magistrate court and we can prove to the magistrate, hey, this is a consistent offender. Now, you can be fined up to $5,000. And you can even be in prison for a term of 6 months or both.
Okay, so pay me and
you can
so you can be fined or be confined or fined and be confined.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of us drivers, we out there taking the tint offenses very lightly, and we have it as if the police are out here picking on people and stuff like that. One of the main things officers need to do when they're on the road, especially for their safety, to see the driver approaching them. Because if I'm out on the road doing a stop and search and a heavily tinted car come, I would want to know how to respond. I don't know if that's a mass assailant there who doesn't have any intention of stopping or letting the police catch them and do anything by any means to get away. So a tinted vehicle is coming to me. I don't know if the driver or the passenger is the gunman who's going to be shooting or anything like that. And that puts a little fear in the police and puts us to react in certain ways. And that's why we have to be out there and stepping down our foot when it comes to tint. Some persons have it as maybe they want to pick up somebody's girlfriend and they don't want nobody to see and stuff like that. But those are minor stuff. We have to look at the major picture.
It's something that I'm always amazed at, Cortesia. And I'm bringing a little Bible. The Bible says that man rather darkness than light because the deeds are evil. Right? And I do not understand the persistency in persons wanting to be driving under the disguise of tint. It's something that I really cannot fathom. What is really that? Is it safety? Is it privacy? What is it that really indulges or compels somebody?
We keep speaking about just taking the offenders to court. The people that put on these tints, aren't they aware? You can't come tell me, oh, yeah, they pay me and they say they want this and they want that, but you know what's right, so they should be in.
So let me ask.
The
businesses could very
That's why the business should pay too, because the business encouraging people to do wrong. Because if you come and I tell you don't do that, it's gonna cause this for you, then you go somewhere else and get your business.
So if you don't have a driver's license, you have a business, but you want to purchase a vehicle from TDC.
I don't have a driver's license.
You don't have a driver's license. Should that restrict you from being the owner of a vehicle?
The fact that I don't have a driver's license.
But you have a business. You're indicating to them that you need the bus or the car for your business. I'm going to do the just thing
and say it should restrict me, because having a vehicle will entice me to think I can drive around and see how long I can get away with it, being a human being.
Maybe you might give the excuse that you have workers that are going to be driving for you.
Yeah, but I just told my honest truth. I might try drive it and get away as long until one of you, Officer McGuire, catches me.
Okay. If a licensed driver buy a vehicle from TDC sells them a vehicle, but we stop somebody who doesn't have a driver's license driving that vehicle. We should stop TDC from selling vehicles. If that vehicle
I'm saying charge the person that knows that only
for someone else
some
action?
vehicles should. Yes, because send them. Okay, I don't want your business. Go somewhere else. I'm done with that. If you're not gonna come and ask me for 35 and up, don't come here. That's my thing.
There is no illegality in the persons who are providing that service of tinting.
But they know me as a normal person shouldn't
as the
have
owner,
it.
The law places the obligation
on me one.
Yes,
because
the owner of the vehicle.
I took up the tint under my vehicle.
Because that tint could have probably tint your windows at home and stuff like that. So we can
listen. Because these tint people know that 5% only apply to certain individuals in the federation, they shouldn't give me 5. Cotton to you ain't no government official. Cotton to you not this, you not that.
But will the government official compensate that person when they're losing their sale?
My God. You see, y'all I can't. I can't.
No. The thing about it, I think our position is, right? And it may sound a little bit conflicting.
It is.
But it's, we are on the side of the persons who provide the service. In the sense that you provide a service. Yes, you as the owner, you should insist that my service must be in compliance with the law. So if I come to you, I have a vehicle and I come to you and I said, I need my vehicle to be 35%. You should not allow that person to tint your vehicle darker than 35%, because the law places the obligation, the responsibility.
So me, the person that taking my vehicle for the tint, not the person that's going to tint it for me.
I providing a service and you bring your vehicle for me to provide you with the service I'm providing. And so it is not illegal for me to put on 5% tint on your vehicle.
But it's illegal for me because I got a code.
It is illegal for you, and therefore you should insist that, hey, I do not want nothing less than 35% on my vehicle, because that's what the law requires.
But if I argue with you who providing the service and say I want 5, you have a right to put 5 on my vehicle, but I still have to deal with the repercussions.
Exactly.
When you could have told me, no,
exactly.
That's not the case. The law said 35. Well,
yeah, 35 but even if the person, you said that you want 5, and I tell you, no, that is not within the law, and you say, I want 5, I am providing a service, so I will give you the 5. You requested this just
no
like
brain, no. We supposed to be Jesus to lead the person to be good, straight and narrow. Why? You see?
You see, but at the same time,
the law is just tricky and funny.
Yes, these entrepreneurs, we are appealing to them to be civic in the service.
Good morning, guys.
Yes.
Good morning. You're live on Traffic Talk.
Now I'm listening to the officer, right? He just stated that it's not illegal for the person that is providing the service to put the tint higher or lower, however it is that it's supposed to be. I mean, to me, right, if I give you a license, you should have some guideline also. So if they give these people a license to put on tint, they should know that they're not supposed to put the tint past whatever level. There should be some responsibility too. Because and if it's a law in the country, you can't say they don't have responsibility when there's a law in the country. Shouldn't it be set for everyone?
Right. And that's a brilliant contribution. And I think that's where we are going. So it's for us to make recommendations in terms of the amendment to the law. As you said correctly, that if you're providing, you have a business and you're providing a service, within that business, there should be certain parameters that you should operate in that business. And I agree with that.
Exactly.
100%.
Have a good day, guys.
Yes, thank you so much for that contribution.
Yeah, in other words, because I was kind of listening, in other words, from my understanding, only certain vehicles should be heavily tinted.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like police vehicles, SWATs, and that kind of stuff. Maybe
exemptions from the Minister of National Security.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is a guideline also for the businesses, so that if Hortensia comes to a business and she's a normal user with a normal car, this person in the business should be able to say to Hortensia, no, I will not sell you this because the law does not provide that this should be put on your vehicle.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, but with one stoppage, there's going to open another entrance.
But you see, this is where people find loopholes.
Yes, that's why I said.
This is why, for instance, you see these bombs.
Yes.
People say, you should stop people from having these bombs. Well, what about the people who are selling them these bombs?
You're gonna stop them from
Right,
employment.
And that's a good analogy because at the same time, these merchants, they bring them in through custom.
Some big ones that they know could cause real harm.
Right, but there are certain restrictions and some of them. So I want to emphasize.
I'm not buying it.
When I said about it is not illegal for the service provider to put on dark tint, what I meant is that the law does not hold the person who tint the vehicle accountable.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, not everybody that does the tinting is because of a business. You have persons who can do it from their personal experience, the private home. So, for example, I might be your friend. I don't have a business, but you just get your vehicle and you brought your tint. I don't have a tint meter or anything. To me, it looks enough. Maybe, okay, for example, 20%. I put on the tint for you because you say, hey, I don't have no money to go pay the tint, man. You could do it for me, please. Sure, you're my neighbor, you're my friend. I put it on for you. I do it as a favor. But you should have known what the percentage should be on your vehicle. So now if you go and drive now, because you have to tell whoever you're buying the tint from what percentage you want. So if you have a vehicle and you have the knowledge that it is supposed to be 35%, but yet you bought 20, or you bought 5, why now do you want to put that blame now on the person who's going to do a service for you?
I know
No, because this is wrong.
It's a technical.
It's a technical one.
Yeah,
so
it's a technical issue. But I still agree with you, Hortensia. Look, Hortensia, I agree with you. I agree with Hortensia, honestly, because it's kind of a double standard. Do I understand the technicality?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's important to note too, right, that for the owners of motor vehicles, that you might not be driving all the time. You have somebody drive you,
Yes.
your child, a family member, a friend, and if the police intercept that vehicle, is the driver at the time will be ticketed.
Yes.
Is the driver at the time who will be held accountable,
Yes.
because is at the time it is a what we call a moving offense.
Yeah.
Yes. And so
Yeah,
at
caller.
the time, yes.
Okay, caller, go ahead for the officers. This is Traffic Talk. Good morning. Hello? Caller?
I guess we could call back.
Okay, caller, you can call back because you're not hearing us.
Maybe they were listening to their radio, and
Oh,
there's a
no.
delay.
Yeah. So for moving violations, it's really the driver at the time that is held accountable. Another thing that Bell spoke about in terms of two type kind of thing, you have where the law strictly prohibit the windscreen of your front window, your front windscreen, to be the entire windscreen to be tinted. So the law provide no more than 10 inches.
And it
From the
should
top?
from the top, and it should be the 35. Some persons got the wrong idea, saying it should be 10 inches, but they want to put it as 5 or 0. But it should be 35% still.
And there is no restriction on that 10 inches of tint in terms of once it's within the
When you mention restrictions.
In terms of the darkness.
The darkness. So if you have it up within the 10 inches.
It could be dark,
because-
it could be light.
So we could use 5 on the windscreen?
On that area.
On that area. Because
Yeah, that's why I said windscreen. See, Officer
Your
Bell have
front
something in his eyes because he's thinking.
I'm here to be corrected, but I was of the view that it should be the 35% still.
Yeah,
Not-
caller.
Not the 5. Caller, go ahead. You're live on Traffic Talk.
Good morning. I would like to share a bit from the tip. And I would like to, the officer, there's some serious matters that reported to the officers. From Monday to Monday, these officers on the radio, and they're giving traffic tips. And when you call them, things don't cause crime. But there's a problem in Connery that we've been reporting ever since that last night they could have committed. Where persons on the yellow line, persons are parking on the yellow line, and when you can pass.
All right, caller. Thank you for your contribution. So.
And that's a good point. I was speaking about menacing violation. Parking violation is also one that I consider, that parking on yellow line restriction. It becomes so serious that from time to time we see people are parking within the vicinity of the stoplight.
The stoplight, especially on 4th Street.
It happens on Keon Street. It's almost like a common practice on the Bay Road, where you have the pharmacy and the supermarket.
Yeah.
People park within that area, and I mean,
Are they
there
parking
is
to
a-
stay or parking to run inside?
It
with
doesn't
detention?
matter.
Well, it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
none.
You-
Okay.
you should
You're
not
obstructing,
park at all.
you're
You
obstructing
should
the
not
free
park.
flow.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
that
you
means
should
if you're in a lane, someone who wants to use that lane have to go over in another lane to pass.
Okay, got
So
you.
you're negligently obstructing the free flow of traffic.
Got you.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, just with the tinting, we had, we found that while stopping a lot of vehicles, we were getting this one major excuse. They're trying to, hide the materials or the equipment or stuff in the back. No. If we allow persons to just give that excuse, everybody's going to use it, and then they're going to manipulate the police. Well, we made some consideration, made some amendments, especially for bread bus, commercial vehicles. You know, the side of that vehicle, the sides can be exceeding the tint limit. Yeah. They can have film, wrap, any stuff like that on the sides once there are no seatings in the back.
Okay, no problem.
Now the front, however, must conform with the law with the 35% still.
Front and back.
The front, the side, the front side glass, the passenger and the driver's side. And the rear, the front and rear windscreen must conform with the law still, which is the 35%. Okay. So it's only for advertising purposes, really, for the sides to exceed the tint limit or to have film or any graphic design or wrap like that. So the bread bus, people who move in like the speakers and stuff like that, they can do that. But the rear and front windscreen must conform with the law.
Okay.
And we could mention it, but we might not be able to address it. You know, people like to have a lot of designs and different things, and their vehicles. As Bell would have read the section of law, there should not be anything that will obscure or obstruct your view. Okay. And so that is one of the reasons why we insist on keeping your windscreen, both the front and the back, within the prescribed limit, so that you can achieve Yes.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So thank you, officers, for coming in and enlightening us. We look forward to seeing you next week as we continue this and other topics, folks. 35%, not 5. And for the vendors, remind them, please. Thank you, officers.
Yes,
we're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Big truck coming, mash up the town. Big truck coming, to the clutch, hit the gear, them down. Whoa, whoa, everybody ready? Yeah, we ready. We span ready. Big truck, massive. Big truck, massive, let me say yeah. Oh, yeah. Now look at this. Imagine two men are walking on me big truck. I wonder what's the problem, why he hacking up?
Areas. Be aware of the possibility of tsunamis immediately after an earthquake. A strong earthquake lasting 20 seconds or more is a natural tsunami warning. Do not wait for an official warning. Gather your family members and evacuate immediately after the shaking stops. Don't delay. A tsunami could occur within minutes.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WinFM.
Here are your Horseless Value Mart IGA Independent Specials for September 18th through October 1st. Now, our Value Club Blue Tag Specials. Barilla pastas, just $6.99. Langus juices, apple and cranberry, $11.99. Essential Everyday Shredded and Chunk Cheese, $7.99. Sunny Delight Smooth and Tangy, $5.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Waffles, $9.99. Honey Bunches of Oats, $19.99. And now, our very low weekly value deals. IGA or Essential Everyday Salad Dressing, $9.99. OxyClean, just $32.99. Imperial Margarine, $8.99. Arm & Hammer Deodorant, $8.99. Duncan Hines Cake Mix, $6.99. Libby's Canned Vegetables, amazing, just $2.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Back to school is here at Harper's. Yes, Harper's is where it's at with the widest selection of school and art supplies for all schoolgoers, from the tiniest preschooler to the big cool college students. Plus, everyone can enjoy a 10% discount and a chance to spin the wheel and enter our grand draw in September. And the bonus is, our friendly team is looking forward to welcoming you again and again and again. For more information, call us at 466-6500.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we're back on Island Tea. Quentin, if you want to continue with the France discussion, we can. I was just reading here to become familiar with it, and from what I got, you can tell me if I'm incorrect, is that one prime minister was ousted because he said he was going to tame the deficit, and the president basically brought in somebody that's going to be a yes man, right?
Yeah, and he's been doing that for, look, since he's been in, I think he's changed about maybe 5 or thereabout, maybe 5, maybe as much as 8. I'm not too sure, but he's instead of conforming to what the people want, he just changes people. And I'm wondering.
So he's looking for loyalists and not people that will hold his feet to the fire.
I'm wondering if people can't just. What is he? I think he's president, right?
Yeah, he's the president. Yeah.
And people. So how they do it? Oh, I think the president is not elected. The president is nominated by some. Yeah, I think his wife had something to do. His wife and her.
They already said she was the leader.
Yeah. I think his wife and their family, and however that hierarchy works, they were responsible for him being selected as the leader, as the president. But anyway, for clarity, I'm going to play this clip back again.
8 years into Macron's rule, critics say France has been left poorer, angrier and broken. Authorities deployed a staggering 80,000 officers nationwide. Nearly 100 arrests were reported. Unions claimed up to 100,000 people had joined the strike across 250 locations, making it Macron's largest challenge since his controversial pension reform battle.
Budget cuts are a consequence of all the gifts that have been made to the managers and the capital. We have a deaf government which does not hear us.
The guillotine in Paris, the smoke in Lyon, the despair in Montpellier. All are symbols of a nation that no longer trusts its president. Macron faces not just a strike, but a rebellion against his legacy. Montpellier's marches began with drums, flags and chants, but ended in chaos. Riot police dispersed crowds and tore down barricades, but not before protesters vowed the fight had only just begun.
Some people are forced to make impossible choices. 1 out of 2 people only eats 1 meal a day. Food insecurity is absolutely staggering.
In Lyon, Paris, Montpellier and beyond, protesters rallied against the president's austerity cuts and pension reforms, accusing him of destroying the French way of life. Older generations voiced their own disillusionment.
I am scared. I am 72 years old. Good things could have happened some years ago, but now we are frightened because we do not trust our president. He is doing nonsense after nonsense.
In Lyon, chaos gripped the streets. Police fired tear gas, chased demonstrators and clashed violently near Saxe-Gambetta Avenue. Protesters hurled explosives. Officers struck back with grenades, and smoke engulfed central squares. Placards branded Macron a dictator, accusing him of taxing citizens while billionaires thrive.
It's always the poorest who are asked to make the biggest sacrifices. I think of young people who are completely desperate. They can't find housing. They can't afford tuition fees. I think of elderly people living on miserable pensions, families who can't even put food on the table.
The rage was just as raw in Paris. Riot police charged, metro services collapsed, and tear gas blanketed Nation Square. Demonstrators dragged a guillotine on wheels, a chilling symbol of rebellion, as unions warned Macron's leadership had benefited too few and hurt too many.
Yeah, and that is an example of what has been happening across Europe. It's just that a lot of the people have, when I say what has been happening, I mean how the leaders have been dealing with their people. You find that when you look at the way the world is set up, and we understand that 1% own the wealth, what has been happening is that they take all the wealth from places like Africa and around the world, and the people don't see it resulting in better lives for them, right? Certain people in the hierarchy are the ones who are getting the money. You heard that clip speak about gifts giving to certain people in higher places, and then one out of two people only eat one meal a day. Mm-hmm. This is in a so-called developed country.
No, 2 meals. 1 out of 2 only eat 2 meals a day. So maybe breakfast and just lunch. You can't afford dinner.
You only eat one meal.
No, 2.
Let me go back.
I swear I heard 2.
You see, I listened carefully.
8 years into Macron's rule, critics say France has been left poorer, angrier and broken. Authorities deployed a staggering 80,000 officers nationwide. Nearly 100 arrests were reported. Unions claimed up to 100,000 people had joined the strike across 250 locations, making it Macron's largest challenge since his controversial pension reform battle.
Budget cuts are a consequence of all the gifts that have been made to the managers and the capital. We have a deaf government which does not hear us.
The guillotine in Paris, the smoke in Lyon, the despair in Montpellier, all are symbols of a nation that no longer trusts its president. Macron faces not just a strike, but a rebellion against his legacy. Montpellier's marches began with drums, flags and chants, but ended in chaos. Riot police dispersed crowds and tore down barricades, but not before protesters vowed the fight had only just begun.
Some people are forced to make impossible choices. 1 out of 2 people only eats 1 meal a day. Food insecurity is absolutely staggering.
Okay, I hear the one now.
In Lyon, Paris, Montpellier.
Yeah.
So I heard 2 meals a day.
Yeah, well, one thing I try to do, that is why when people sit over there, I listen.
But I heard it twice, about the 2 meals, That's why I stuck to my guns, but I stand corrected.
Yeah, one thing I always try to do is to listen. That is why I listen before I speak. You see, when the Attorney General was sitting over there and he said something and I said he said something and he said he didn't say it, and I said, yeah, we're recording you. Well, I'm going to, not today, I'm going to, maybe on one of my Voices days, I'm going to, what is the word I'm going to? I'm going to analyze that conversation that we had with the Attorney General, and he did say what I said he said, right? So let's move away from that. But here is it, as I was saying, these big countries, these so-called developed countries, they take all kind of wealth from around the world, and it doesn't trickle down to their people. So Macron now finds that France is in a problem, and what does the person who is the leader want to do? Impose austerity measures, cut the people's pension, put all kind of things that will make the people suffer more. And the people say, no, we've had enough of this. We see you're living on the, as we say in our Caribbean colloquial way, you're living off the fat of the hog, and we're surviving. But what I want people to take note of is that not too long ago, Europe was looking at the rest of the world and calling us third world countries, and when we had to take austerity measures, which they imposed on us, when we had to take them, they said that we were failed states and all kind of things, but now they are going to the same predicament, having to face austerity measures and other things. Hello, caller?
Yes, good morning to you guys, man. How you guys doing today?
Good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, really good myself. Great clip there, Quint, you played there just now. And let's let's talk about what the clip says. All these points that was brought out in that clip, the government is not listening. The people have been left poor. Persons are only eating one meal if they're lucky. This is the type of, and the eruption of the violence in the streets. This is the stuff that we got to guard against in our little space, Federation of Thinkers and Nevis. We may not want to talk about it, but I'm talking from outside looking in, and I'm observing. The people in Thinkers and Nevis, they're angry. They're getting angrier and angrier. We are angry at each other, others, and we are possibly angry against the incumbent governments now on both islands. We had a lot of conversations about our lands. There's a lot of lands that's sitting there that's already in foreigners' hands. And I can only vividly say I can, like, going back past the Christoph Harbor, we see how the chatter came about after the Prime Minister came forward and said that they sold that marina. And these backdoor deals that have been happening with these outsiders, these outside so-called developers coming in from outside. Why can't we develop our own country? We don't have the confidence in ourselves. But in retrospect, and what do the people have? How does the people agitate? They agitate by protest, peaceful protest. That's our basic fundamental right by the Constitution when we are dissatisfied with the government. And then, and then a lot of us, we get on here and we complain, but we don't see where the solutions. We need the solutions as well. And let me point out a few things. Quick, there was a guy that used to call in, I think he was calling from the UK. He had an issue with his daughter gaining a passport through whatever citizenship means, whether she's an offspring of him. He never came back in and tell us if he got that situation solved. And if he's listening this morning, I would ask him to call in and tell us did he get that situation solved, because it's all good that when we have we pound in and pound in. But when there is a solution, or whoever brings the solution,
you don't hear
or
about it.
we can recommend solution as well. But when the solution happens, I want them to call in as well and say, yo, such and such was the case, this happened, and I got my issue solved. That way we can know that we can let that to rest, and we know how the solution came about. You see what I'm saying? We cannot just be complaining, and we're not bringing the solutions. Or when the solution comes, we're supposed to as well say, well, we got this solved, and we worked this out, and we negotiated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, I understand. Another point is the gentleman that's down at that New Guinea port, that company there, he came to the public and he said that he had a lot of issues with work that he did for the government. He didn't get paid and such, and he appealed to the citizens. He appealed to us. Some of us supported him, some of us didn't. But I understood that there was going to be some type of march or protest today against what he was going through. But it seems like there was an intervention. And I saw a clip somewhere that there was an intervention by a particular advisor. But we need these persons to come back to the public and say what happened and how they got this situation solved. And let us know what's going on. Give us the update that. Don't just appeal to us all the time and then leave us hanging in the mid-air. He needs to come back to the public and say, give us an update. If he says before the government owes him $10 million, we want to know if he got his $10 million or if there was some type of negotiation where he got only $3 million, or if they settled for $3 million. We need to know when the solutions occur. I got to get an update. But anyway, let me just say something lastly. There's a protest that's scheduled in St. Kitts on Friday, 26th of this month, coming up this week. And I'm just asking persons who's available to go out and exercise their constitutional right. It's an awareness protest, and we're gonna see the advertisements or whatever. And I'm just asking persons to, while we have the chance to exercise our right, to go out and do it, because if peaceful protests don't happen, it can potentially turn violent later on. And I'm just promoting peaceful protests, and I'm asking persons to exercise their fundamental right when they have the chance to. And I'll leave it there for now. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you for your contribution.
Let me see if I can get this other caller. Hello, caller.
Yeah, good morning, Quinn.
Good morning, John Down.
How are you?
Good,
fine, thank
yourself?
you. And you?
Yeah, man, you're holding the thing together. Quinn, my input this morning is what the caller is talking about. He is so right. We need to know about the Christoph Harbour arrangement, and I was looking for you all to even raise that with the Attorney General. Quinn, you hold him to his feet. You hold him to his feet. These guys got to come to the public and give us information. And you clearly get that to him. The lack of coming to the country with information. So we must take them different. We must speculate. You know, we're paying these guys. We're paying them. The Christoph Harbour is where making a lot of nasty politicians feel they could do us as they like. God bless WinFM. God bless Quinn and my lady dear.
Hortensia.
Thank you all a million. The caller said just call from the state. He's all right. We don't hold them to the feet. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. These white people are all over the head. All over the head. Watching them fight for land. Sit down your bile and cheap give it back to Nevis people just to make sure they're landless. And vagabonds come taking back we land of the white people. They're looking war, you know. They're looking war. People are sinking to Nevis. Support the rallies them. We have to stand up. Have a good morning, Katensi and Quinn.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jam Down.
Let's take a bit of a commercial break and we'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Back to school is here at Harper's. Yes, Harper's, it's where it's at with the widest selection of school and art supplies for all schoolgoers, from the tiniest preschooler to the big cool college students. Plus, everyone can enjoy a 10% discount and a chance to spin the wheel and enter our grand draw in September. And the bonus is, our friendly team is looking forward to welcoming you again and again and again. For more information, call us at 466-6500.
Yeah, we got that.
Church's Texas Chicken is on its way to St. Kitts and Nevis, and we're hiring. You can be part of our growing team as we open our very first store on the island. We're looking for motivated managers, friendly customer service reps, and hard-working kitchen champions. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Send us your resumes today at jobs@pizzaboys.com. Church's Texas Chicken. Flavor you love.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back on Island Tea, and Quint, this talk of land is not going anywhere. I even saw a news article where the opposition, the PLP, is, as they say, giving lashes with their mouth to the administration, because apparently when they were in, they bought back some lands as well that were
tied up in the
land for debt swap. Yeah, thanks for that. So as I said,
I heard a clip from Timothy Harris, and when I heard it, I was thinking to myself, as I've said before, I've said it before and I'll reiterate, Timothy Harris, you are a former leader, you are a member of parliament. Yes, it's good to hear you now making these statements, but you know how good we would have felt if you were in parliament rebutting some of what was said in your capacity as a member, an elected member of parliament. That is what we want you to do. In hindsight, yes, I'm not going to condemn you. It's good to hear you. And what you said brought some, to me, and a lot of us, some clarity. There are certain things that we did not understand that you made more clear in terms of why it should have been left alone and it should have been tabled in Nevis and all that kind of stuff. But we want you to say these things in Parliament in your capacity as a member of Parliament. Okay? Let's go to the phone lines.
Caller, good morning. You're live in Island Tea.
Yes, Captain here, quickly. Now, the clip that Quinn played of what is happening in Paris. Mm-hmm. You know, over the years, we gave them enough time for them to vindicate themselves from what they are doing, exploiting our resources. But you know what's going to happen, guys? They're going to leave a snake in a bag. Let me repeat this. They are going to leave a snake in a bag for their offspring. Because what is going on in Paris today, they're going to be leaving France, and where are they going to go? Where are they going to go when they left Paris? They're going to flock the continent of Africa. They've been exploiting 15% of our resources. But the continent is waiting for its rightful owners to come and take ownership of 85%. That is us, Quint. That is us in the Caribbean, in the diaspora, in Europe and America.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something, Journey. I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. But don't you think it's about time a majority of those leaders across Africa really show us that they understand what is happening and that is about time for them to step up? There are few, including the three in Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. There's that lady who got elected for the first time, first female leader ever in Africa in recent times. And also there are a few others, but they're not enough. We want to see more of them taking that step towards real ownership.
Quint, what is happening in the Sahel region, it's a revolution. It's going to spill over. Now you're talking about Ndwaita of Namibia. And I commented and I said it takes a woman. It takes a woman, Quint. Now we have Mia Motley in the Caribbean. We have Ndwaita and we have the president of Tanzania, although I'm not really too happy with her because she made Tony Blair an ambassador. She made Tony Blair an ambassador. It's like, did she forget what Tony Blair and Bush did in Iraq? And, you know, I mean, there are those who are recognizing the plight, Quint. Now, we have the new president of Botswana. Now, when you look at I refer to them as the Fantastic Five that was in the White House a couple of months back and they met Trump. And the disrespect that Trump issued at them. oh, where did you learn to speak English so well? And the way the camera was focused on them, they're back to the camera and the camera facing Trump alone. And these guys are saying, oh, you can come and open up a golf course in Senegal. I mean, you know, it is staggering. It is staggering for me to see our young leaders who, like, they're not awake. They are not awakened, Quint. And this is where the clarion call. For centuries, they've been exploiting 15% of our resources, Quint. But you see, they put all of that in the book. And I'm going to always stress on it. The two brothers, Jacob and Isaac. All of what is in the book is symbolism to our reality, Quint. It is symbolic to our reality.
You see something there, in relation to the book, there's something that a lot of people don't understand, and especially the Christians. The Bible, as it is brought to us, was never a complete compilation in itself. It was a number of writings by different people at different times, scattered across different areas. It took a bunch of people to get together and decided what they were going to take and what they were going to put into this book. So we now have this book, and and people say the Bible, but it was never meant to be that way. It was never written that way. It was never written Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, blah, blah. No. Certain people decided to put these things together and gave it to us as a Bible.
The Bible is a library of books, Quint.
Yeah.
The Bible is a library of books. And the very writers of the book, Quint, the very writers of the book is the God in the book. I want our people to look at the actions of the writers of the book. Look at their mindset, because, again, the book hides more than what it reveals. So when you're going to read the book, look at the writers of the book and look at their footprint on the planet.
For instance.
And again, Quint, I'm going to repeat this quickly.
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat this quickly. The book gave us two deities. Both deity is man. God and the devil, they are all man. But they told us one deity descend upon the face of the deep. And Quint, I want to emphasize on this. We are all spirit before we came flesh. We were spirit before we came flesh. It's not just the one deity that descend upon the face of the deep. Because spirit was at a realm. And consciousness was oneness, Quint. It was split into polarities, duality. Divine feminine, divine masculine. But it wasn't one deity that the book told us in Genesis 1 that descend upon the face of the deep. That's why we can't remember when we were spirit, and we can't remember the day we were born. It's a journey from spirit coming into flesh in its manifestation, Quint. But again, let me repeat, France, Europe, America, they are all flocking Africa. The Palestinians are in Africa. Bill Craig is wanting for South Africa to be divided into two countries and only going to allow domestic workers to come into the area where it's white alone. Can you imagine this? Can you imagine they have this authority to go into a black space and create a country for only white, but only black when they go there to be domestic workers? When are we going to change these narratives? When are we going to change these narratives, Quint? I want our people to ponder on these things, because our reality and our future is at stake. They know who they are. They know who we are, and they know what they are not. I want us to think about that, Quint. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your contribution.
And I was go ahead, Hortensia.
No, I was just saying thank you for your contribution. But he said they know who we are, right? That's what he said, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to understand what he
means. A lot of the people in high places, that 1% that own all the wealth, they know who we are. it is the majority, the masses of the white people who don't really know who we are. We as a black people, because they were kept ignorant. And if you go on YouTube and TikTok and a lot of those platforms, you will hear a lot of white people now expressing that they're now understanding. A lot of white people didn't especially the what they call them, the Gen Z generation. Is that
which one? The now ones or
the now? What do they call the now generation? I think it's the Gen Z.
I'm not quite. I can't remember at this moment.
Yeah, it's Generation Z. That's what they refer to them as. A lot of them are saying they are now and Trump is the catalyst for this. In trying to destroy a lot of black history, it makes a lot of Caucasian ask the question, well, why do you want to destroy
Gen
history?
Alpha?
Yeah.
The ones between 2010 and 2024.
Yeah. So I was losing my chain of thought there. So a lot of them are saying, we now understand what black people have gone through. A lot of them didn't know about the civil rights struggle and the hangings and Jim Crow and all of that kind of stuff, So a lot of them are being aware of it now. So that is what he meant by that statement. Yeah.
Oh, boy. Ay.
Hello, caller.
I just saw somebody have I don't know if he was placed there or if he's actually in a pineapple field. Ibrahim Traore, they have him in a pineapple field and somebody's saying, yeah, boy. And this is somebody from the Caribbean that has that up. So as I said, with AI, a lot of things are happening.
Yeah, you got to be very careful. Hello, caller.
Hi, good morning, Quint.
Yeah,
good morning, Hortensia.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm giving thanks for life. Yourself?
Trying to be better than yesterday.
All right. That's a good omen. So much to unpack. Quint, you played a clip earlier about the situation in France and its downward demise, if we can call it that. And it was former President Jacques Chirac had warned the French public that once the African leaders on the continent of Africa get it right, stop their puppetry behavior and govern their people in an amicable way, their resources would be redound to the upkeep of that particular nation. And that is what is happening. For the probably 14 or 15, quote-unquote, so-called Francophone countries in West Africa and the Sahel, and with those three Sahelian nations in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, forming an alliance. And for the longest, we know the French economy relied heavily on those countries, even their currencies, and the pact for the continuation of colonization, as it was called, with the agreement. If you want out of this, this is what you have to sign off to. And this is what, has caused the French demise. There's no doubt about it. Because Niger is endowed with uranium. And Niger was only getting pittance for the uranium that the French was extracting from that country. And now that Niger has decided to raise their price 200% to the equivalent of the world market price, like the Canadians that sells for that amount, and others, the French, they cannot buy it at that rate because they was getting it for pittance. And that is some of what we've seen happening right now. As for where the French citizens they're going to go, the European Union is big. The European Union, there was a European politician was saying that Europe is a garden.
Yeah, but
so if one part of the garden is not blossoming, there are other parts of the garden in Europe which is still blossoming, and they will go there.
But Africa, you think, we see with all the migration that's happening around the world, soon places are going to put a cap on it, because why would you want to come mess up our flourishing garden by bringing extra mouths to feed? We see everybody's concern is food security. So I don't think after a certain time countries are going to be welcoming of others, or even though they share the same garden. They're going to say, you're coming to eat up our garden. We have enough mouths to feed over here.
But they have so many pacts, so many agreements. It is one European space.
And all those agreements and pacts can fall apart.
We see Brexit occurred.
Yep, exactly.
I don't know if that... Huh?
Exactly. I was agreeing with you with that part.
Yeah, and so what happened, unless other nations sign off to being a part of the European space, those guys they're free to move. They're free to move. They have their high technology where they have this transportation, that the jet, the flights and the train that takes them from one European space to the next. So that is their purview. That is where they're gonna go. They're gonna go as far north as what we call them those countries in the north. You know, like Denmark, Spain, and Denmark.
But I'm telling you, eventually these people are going to curb how many people could come regardless of their status. We see
they're not curbing it unless it is the European space, because European citizens are free to move.
And I get that.
Denmark, Sweden, and the other one up there.
But think of it.
You know?
If let's say we're going from Denmark to maybe, let's say, Spain. Do you think Spain would be able to handle almost everybody from Denmark if something happens in Denmark? We're just being hypothetical here. Do you think Spain wouldn't say, no one else can come. We have to look out for our own. I understand we have a pact.
They're already saying that, and it's to do with tourism. They're already saying too many people visiting, they're disrupting the place. So imagine, look, if Europe isn't careful, what has been happening around the world where they're forcing people to be refugees is going to happen to them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna lock the doors.
Because they have created that environment where they have want to suck other people's nation dry, and then you created a situation where this is the epicenter, Europe is the epicenter, and people naturally will gravitate there.
But they'll
But
curb
now
it.
the reverse would happen. The reverse is going to happen, where the gravitation epicenter will be elsewhere, not a particular spot, but diverse, dispersed elsewhere.
Elsewhere as in where?
Within the South countries that we are seeing happening, because there are alternatives now. The BRICS and the South countries, they're alternative. They're alternative within the banking, the monetary system, where those nations were able to borrow, not from the World Bank, not from IMF, but were able to borrow at an amicable rate, low rate, so that those particular countries that they identified were able to have the wherewithal to extract the minerals and be more self-sufficient, rather than sending like the cocoa beans to Sweden. You know, I meant to say the Scandinavian countries, which Sweden is.
Yeah, another caller. So hold.
Yes,
you can
know
hold
they were able to do that.
Hello, caller.
Yes, hello. I just wanted to come back in after that journey comments. And me personally, I'm giving out the warning to St. Nevis. Did we hear what Journey just said about South Africa? This is why we are scared about that enclave coming on Nevis. No matter what those developers say to the premier, when they get control of those lands, they can do whatever they want to do with it. And where it may end up is not where it started or where it may start. We cannot afford to have that type of structure of society in St. Kitts and Nevis. And on the international scene, what's happening on the continent, I'm just wanting to see what's going on in the Sahel states to happen with the two two big English-speaking countries on the West Coast, Ghana and Nigeria. If the changes come to Ghana and Nigeria, they won't be able to stop this stuff. The African continent is changing. But Ghana, in particular, I could speak to that country because I have some connections there. The people in there are just like the people in Tinting and Nevis. They're very naive and laid back. The Christianity and the religion got us manipulated. And I just want to see the best of Tinting and Nevis going forward. Our politicians, they're not coming to us and being truthful. And it's going to hurt us in the end, man. It started with all of that money that they got in that CBI program. Instead of them taking that money and managing that money properly, if they did, Tinking and Nevis would be in tip-top shape. Now, we, the poor people, are going to suffer out of their mistakes and their mishandling. And I'll leave it there, man. Thanks a lot for you guys.
All right. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, bro. Okay, Africa.
Yeah, and there are alliances that are forming. We have seen some emanating from the strike in Qatar that Israel did to take out the Hamas leaders. And it has been a wake-up call to that so-called Middle Eastern area where an alliance has been formed with Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. No doubt it's going to, because of the summit, emergency summit meeting with the Islamic State and the Arab State, that they called an emergency meeting to show solidarity with Qatar because they decide that Israel has been striking and they was want to strike any nation, at will, without, any prior saying, well, from the U.S., no, you can't do that, that's a sovereign nation and so forth. And so we are seeing alliances that are forming, and I like the fact where most of the Caribbean and Southern American nations made a stance towards the Venezuelan situation. Also, here in Tinking and Nevis, I like the fact that civic-minded persons and the like, they are trying to get some rallies and, demonstrations going so that the awareness can be brought to the general public. And I listened to a clip from a pastor, a minister of the cloth, that spoke on government's responsibilities. Government needs to sensitize their people that lands are assets, and it would be the very last resort if you would ever want to sell your land. It would be you have to exhaust everything else. He made a point there where, a neighbor to his land was planning on selling his land, and even though the minister said he would have wanted to buy the land, he encouraged the person not to sell the land. And he made a point where the parent now would admonish their children and grandchildren not to sell this land, pass this land on to posterity, to the next generation. And the point that the pastor made is like, the deceased, they said the dead, it's gone, and the deceased will look at the prophecy and look into the future of the children and grandchildren, plan to develop that land. So when person gonna tell you that the deceased is no longer, our ancestors look over us and they will want to make sure that we do the right thing with our assets, with our work, with our birthright. So, yeah, I like the fact that the momentum is building, that you cannot just go and pass some special sustainability zone authorization act and don't think that it doesn't have far-reaching consequences to our people with the little lands, the little assets that we have beneath our feet. And so you're going to just pull the rug from beneath our feet. So where would we stand?
I think that the present leadership, they're beginning to become more aware of it, because if you listen to some of the statements by the AG, when he asks, for instance, the question, like he asks, do you think that leaders will do something that will cause them to lose in the electorate or jeopardize their, and I said, well, you never know. But a question like that states that they're becoming aware, but I tried to tell them before. I told them, especially the federal cabinet, I said if I were them, that I would wash my hands of this, but they, for whatever reason, decided to go along with it, or maybe it had already been passed, because we only in hindsight found out that it had already been gazetted, so, you know.
Yeah, but you see where a question like that, you see where they lies on losing a political office, rather than appeasing the people in the right thing, and that would be the least of their worries.
But
to lose a political office, because
Africa, you and I are well aware. We are old elders. Didn't just come into the world. We are well aware that the only thing that politicians are concerned about is whether they will lose or they will win.
But it's easy winning. It would be easier for them to win once they protect the people at all costs.
Well, they should know that.
Predators that are there.
They
and
should
then
know that.
not to make a statement like that, because you are trying to give us the impression that that is all your intentions are. Your intentions are only just win another 5 years stint in office, rather than taking care of us, and then we will take care of you.
Well,
you know, so it's like always putting the carriage in front of the horse, and then when you find yourself in a bind,
you come back to us.
These are the type of statements that will emanate from your mouth, which, while under scrutiny now, it will only show you how spineless they can be, or they are.
Well, I try not to be too. I try to be a bit more diplomatic, and people might, you know, but I try. Look, my thing is, my aim is not to beat down the young leadership. Like I said to the AG, I respect the position that he has. I mean, for a man of his young age to be an attorney general, that is a big achievement, right? So I am proud of that. But I also told him that he also has to be aware that they are human and they'll make mistakes, and to learn from them. So my intent is not to beat down young leadership. It's to try to highlight to them that, look, you need to at sometimes be humble, because it is that from that humility that you will learn. If you are pompous and arrogant, it blocks your ability to learn, because then you feel you know it all.
I concur, and I will take back such hard words like being spineless.
Yeah.
But when it comes to someone who will have a voice, and to echo my sentiments towards the protection of the ordinary, I will always have this voice, irrespective of what administration. And yes.
And that is good. Yeah. That is good.
A selective word of that is a little bit of a stretch. And yes, they are also humans, but be assured that we are here, we are listening, we are analyzing, and our voice are not that simple.
Yeah.
Our voice resonates. It has resonance. Once our voices are heard, it doesn't come back. It goes out. It's like what caused the effect of what we're enjoying today, the creation of all things.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
All right, Africa. Thank you as usual for your contribution.
And that brings us to the end of Island Tea for today.
Yeah, another Monday, another one down. A lot of things happening in and around the world. Boy.
Well, I must say I'm sorry for your recent loss. I know you felt it, because the first thing Hortensia said to me when she came in this morning was, Quint, we lose. And then she went into, her little... and all I could do was laugh, because I know she felt it, but what can I do, So...
He's talking about cricket, by the way.
Yeah.
Just in case if they think I lost, somebody else knows. Yeah. Cricket. It's all about cricket. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but your countrymen, they are very good cricketers, and I'm sure
They
that
worked last night.
Yeah, I'm sure that they'll gather themselves, and
I'm tired of being. We got to be the bride 1 year, and it's like they're just content. We don't need to be any runner-up.
Don't worry, man. They're gonna go on a run eventually, you know. Yeah.
2 is not a winner, and 3 nobody remembers.
Yeah,
Number 1.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
We hear you.
Folks,
She's passionate when it comes to her cricket, huh?
Have a great day, and I know enjoy whatever you do. As Quincy is saying, yeah, I feel a little down, but you stay progressive, up and pushing. I will do my best to get out of my little ruts.
Yeah, and you will. So do take care, and as I always say, don't just have a good day, but have a great life.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
If you need protection,